RCN's rock idol, the band Silent Generosity, in the studio with us. You know what? Regardless of what happens on RCN Rock Idol, Silent Generosity, I got a feeling in the future there's going to be a VH1 Behind the Music special done on you guys.
Now that you've named Silent Generosity RCN's Island Rock Idol winner, we wanted to say thanks.
He was an ass. I didn't like him.
Well, first reaction meeting him was he had awesomely long hair, which he doesn't have anymore, which he should start growing out again.
I mean, first of all, he looked like a rocker, but, you know, with his long hair and everything.
My first impression of Charlie was, this guy looks like a rock star. He had hair down to his butt. He had this big long guitar, and he's just standing there, wailing away on it like this.
I met Charlie a long time ago.
My first reaction meeting Charlie was when him and Dennis showed up at Jay's house for that very first practice for the tryout. And they brought this giant cooler filled with beer.
Seemed like a really nice guy, but it was like, oh boy, the guys had like a month to go for the competition, and these guys never even played guitar standing up, him and Dennis.
Seeing him on stage is one thing, but when you're next to him when he's playing is another thing. You have no room to move, besides the fact that he tries to kill you with his bass.
And Jay and I looked at each other and kind of gave each other that silent nod, like, you know, these guys might just work out. We still haven't even heard them play yet.
Charlie coming in, it was like a matter of seconds, and I turned over to Ryan and I looked at him and said, Ryan, this is our guy.
My first thought was, God, that's what I want to be when I grow up.
That day I'll never forget. I was excited for them as they were excited playing.
It was really something else playing with Charlie. I mean, he was just the perfect sound and perfect fit that Ryan and I were looking for in a bass player.
I honestly don't remember meeting Charlie. He's just always been there. One favorite bass line?
Pretty much every bass line Charlie has come up with has been my favorite, so it's kind of hard to pinpoint which one I like the best.
There are so many. He really has a way of bringing out this melody and this feel and this heart to the music.
Oh God, there's so many. I mean, his bass is very integral in so many of the Silent Generosity songs.
Oh God. I'm trying to go through them in my head.
But my favorite bass line would have to be Tragic End.
Oh, my favorite bass line of Charlie's would have to be Who I Am. I love that it drives the song. It's different from pretty much every other one of our songs. Kind of really pushes it with the bass.
I mean, I love Hit and Run because I mean, you just want to turn the volume up in your car when that's playing and bang along to it, you know.
That first do 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 do. It was the first time I really felt like I threw a melody out there and somebody returned it and meshed something perfectly together.
My favorite bass lines of Chuck's is, I guess I'd have to go with Girls Gone and Johnny Johnny.
I'm gonna go with Who I Am. That's my final answer.
More recently, I'd have to say Misguided Fools. I mean, he throws just so much creativity into that song. Pretty much, I don't think anybody else could have come up with the same lines as him.
But Charlie does things that bass players, no bass player I've ever seen can do. And I would fight to the death anyone who told me he wasn't the best bass player on this island.
Oh, well, I can't tell you that.
That's totally going on.
Some of my favorite moments with Charlie, outside of the guy who's actually performing the show, was being with them, being with Charlie, recording Sabella, seeing how excited he was, how into it he was.
There was a time that every Sunday after rehearsal, when everybody else left, Charlie and I would just sit in my house and set up one computer here, one computer here, and we would just write. You know, he'd have his headphones on, listening to whatever crazy music he was listening to get himself in the mood. And we would just sit for hours and write.
Even just, you know, hanging out at shows with Charlie when I used to be in 3AM, he seemed like a really cool guy.
He came over once. It was one of the first times. Actually, I think it's my earliest memory of Charlie. And he had him over my house. I was living at my grandmother's house at the time. And all I remember is him just bouncing off the walls. He was just bing, 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 bing. Insane.
My favorite moment outside of the band with Charlie was probably the only time I ever felt myself getting angry with Charlie.
Charlie just has the ability to. You don't expect him to be a funny guy all the time, but sometimes he just throws in a comment here and there that just makes you fall off your chair and hit the floor in laughter.
I guess the favorite moment would be just hanging with you guys at the studios, hanging with Chuck at the studios.
And then eventually Charlie and I would hit like a writer's block, go grab a cup of coffee, and come back and blow the heads off of zombies for the next like 3 or 4 hours until we realized it was like 4 o'clock in the morning and we both had work the next day.
It was on the bus ride to the bitter end when Charlie was having a little bit too much fun in the back of the bus with his friend Jack Daniels, and I really was worried that he was going to physically be able to perform that night.
I probably shouldn't tell you everything, but you know, he's definitely a funny guy in his own way.
Off the stage, when I finally got him alone and started talking to him, I was like, hey man, you're a great bass player, because he has that rock star image. And then when you get to talk to him, and he's like a computer nerd, basically. That's what it comes down to.
The one that stands out in my mind the most, and there's several because Charlie brings so much to the stage with him, and there are several where I thought he really put on a great performance, but the one time that stands out in my mind the most was the RCN contest at the Bolton Center.
My favorite show by far would have to be when we played for the Bolton Center.
My favorite is recent. We, like with the RCN contest, we played the Bolton Center and it was a great show. I was so impressed by him, like I always am.
I think maybe the very first show we played with Charlie, it was at Molly Bloom's, run by Steve Doniani out in Smithtown.
There was a lot riding on that, and Charlie and I spoke ahead of time, and I said, look, Charlie, you know, if you're ever going to let it all hang out, tonight's the night. And he did, and it was reflected when the judges reviewed the band afterwards. They really pointed out Charlie. I thought he really gave it everything he had that night, and I was very proud of him.
There's the Halloween show. He was dressed as the Crow. I mean, that's awesome. There was the show at Someplace Else was incredible.
My favorite show with Charlie, the one that sticks out more than ever, was when we played at Mulcahys and we won the BAB contest. Not only celebrating in the audience was so much fun, and not only was playing the show so much fun because we packed the place out. There was just no room for anybody to stand.
Man, too many shows. But one of my favorite shows, I guess, was early on, right here in this building. Matter of fact, it was called the King's Club.
Because it pretty much came the favorite moment was when Charlie decided to kick over the camera on the stage, and Charlie and I got both a chance to go over and look at it and wave in the middle of the set.
Back then, you know, the band was brand new to them, Charlie and Dennis. They've never been in a band before, and just seeing how excited they were on that stage and the look on Charlie's face was just priceless.
When Charlie started to go a little crazy, breaking out of his shell, and he ran out there and jumped on the pool table, I believe it was, and started playing.
But the thing that made that my favorite show with Charlie was when we went up afterwards and they started playing Natural over the loudspeakers, and I remember just getting up on stage and turning to Charlie, and he kind of just threw his arms up, and it was one of those looks like we finally hit first place. I've been trying to find the right words for a long time now.
Charlie, good luck. I know you're going to do well in Apple. If there's anyone I've ever known for computers that could really go far and would actually get a job with someone like Apple, it would definitely be you. It'd be my first choice.
I wish him luck, but you don't need it. He's too smart for that.
Oh, Charlie, I can't think of anybody that deserves the opportunity you're getting more than you do.
Well, this is probably the hardest question to answer. On top of Charlie being our bass player, he's a brother. He's always going to be a brother. He's always going to be part of Silent Generosity, regardless of how far away he is.
I can just imagine what the new iPod is going to look like. It's going to press of a button, Transformer style, open up into like a bass guitar that you can physically sit and play and plug into an amp.
It's been a blast. I wish him a lot of luck. I wish him and Val a lot of luck.
Thank you for playing music with me. Thank you for allowing me to share this with you.
I'm gonna miss you, Charlie. I really am. It's very heavy news hearing you leave, and promised myself I wouldn't cry.
I can't even begin to explain how happy I am. This really is well deserved.
You're brilliant. You're a nice person. You're a good person. You got a good girl by your side there in Valerie. I have absolutely no doubt that you're going to do well.
I'm happy for him. You know, I'm sad to see him go, but I'm too happy for him to be upset about it. You know, it's too good for him. It's too good. You know, and now I have an excuse to go to California.
In all honesty, Charlie, I've never met another human being that connected with me musically the way you did. From the bottom of my heart, man.
I love you, man. It's been a great, great time playing with you, and I hope we can do it again sometime. And good luck with everything you do. Needless to say, I know you're going to do awesome with whatever job you land yourself in. Working for Apple is obviously a golden opportunity, and I'm sure you'll do great with that. And last thing to say to you, man, is I love you. I don't know any other way to say that.
The final message to Chuck. Rock on.
I can't wait to see you have children, because I want to see these kids, because I know you're going to be great parents. I know you're going to raise a bunch of musicians, and you're probably going to start a band with them and put us all to shame. I'm going to miss you terribly. Please, please, please stay in touch with me.
Promise me one thing. change the world, dude. Like we wanted to do musically.
Can anyone help me out of here so I can get my fix and live again? I've given you all my blood and tears, so if you do not mind, I'll just be on.
I wonder if Charlie's doctor can write me a prescription for whatever he's. No, you know, one of the, aside from a near perfect, you guys obviously, they say practice makes perfect, and you guys have obviously been practicing, because that was as near a perfect set as I've seen in a while.